Hey everyone, it's Tyler Binkley, and here we're going over the to the edge and back section of for loops in the Learn to Code 1 of Swift Playgrounds. So here we are, to the edge and back. We're continuing with loops. You notice one thing about the left-hand side here is they're not giving us any code ahead of time. Looks like we're going to have to do whatever it is by scratch today. So the challenge is use a for loop to repeat a rotating pattern. And so, when I hear that, I think, okay, you know what? Looking at the map, it looks like there's 4 switches that are grayed out, meaning they are off. Okay, the other 4 are already on. And that means we don't have to worry about those 4. So, they probably just threw that in there to try to, make sure that we are staying focused and on task and not dealing and just knowing what we need to deal with and what we don't need to deal with. And it says, in this challenge, you'll practice finding repeating patterns. You must activate 4 switches, moving to each switch from the central point. Break down the puzzle by figuring out the sequence of commands needed for your character to activate the first switch and return to the central point. I think that's key, and this is why reading directions is so important, because it says get the first switch and basically come back to where you were, right? And then this is the sequence that repeats, so put the code inside the curly braces. So, first things first, I could think about what has to happen here, but I know I want to do a loop, so I'm going to hit the for option, which is looping. So now my immediate gut is telling me that the number needs to be a 4, and the reason why is that there's 4 tiles that are need to be toggled. So I would automatically try something, and I think that's a pretty good guess. We'll find out if it's correct or not later, but when you find out what you got to do, go with it. And if you make a mistake, you can always change it later, right? So inside the loop where it says code, I need to make sure that that is blue. Now here's where I'm going to try to solve just one toggle or one switch and come back to where I was. So it looks like I'd have to move forward 2 tiles to go down the steps there and get to the first switch right in front of byte. Okay, so that should get me to the very first switch. And now I need to toggle the switch. And then I want to turn around. So that's going to be either 2 left or 2 right turnarounds to make a 180-degree turn. And then we're going to, we're going to come back. So that's move forward twice to get back to where we started. Okay, and let's just run that and see if that does exactly what I was hoping it would do. Now, I'm going to stop it right there. Okay, and the reason why is because it did do what I wanted it to do. It came back, but now it's repeating. Because we put in that number 4 up there, it's repeating everything. And if I keep it running, okay, it's moving forward. We can see what's happening here if we do step through my code. Okay, it's going to move forward again. It's going to toggle the switch. Okay, it actually worked for the first 2. Turn left, it's going to turn around, it's going to move forward. Now, here's the problem. Guess what? It goes to repeat it again, and it's just going to go right back to where I was. And so that's the problem. Something's wrong, right? I need it to be able to go to the other 2 tiles that are gray as well. And there's just one little trick with this, and once you figure it out, it's kind of like a, oh man moment, right? And so here's the deal. With solving one, just the very first one, even without a loop, if we weren't even thinking about a loop, we would move forward twice, toggle the switch, turn around and come back. But now, instead of facing forward, like the opposite of direction where byte is standing right now, wouldn't we want to just turn either to the left or to the right? And then that would go a different direction. And then when it repeats, it's going to come back and turn left, which again is going to go a new way. And it's just going to keep going a new way each time. So if we watch this, okay, we get the first one. Now watch here. So now we get to a turn left and it keeps continuing and it goes to the next switch that was not toggled on. And we turn around and we come back and we add in that turn left that I added at the very end. And so it just keeps going in a different direction as opposed to going back and forth without the turn left there. And so by adding that turn left, or we could have done the turn right, it makes it so that every time he gets back to the beginning, he's going to turn in a new direction to complete all 4 of the tiles that were missing. And so there we go. We repeated it 4 times and we're getting the hang of this. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this helped.